Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, the one the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect, pushing the word across the four corners of the earth. I just want to jump in because seeing Esau and seeing them at the height of their power and the forces that they have worldwide, a lot of our people have a defeated mindset. But the Lord has commanded us. He said, what? He that endureth to the end shall be saved. And this is how this is the position that the Lord wants, for us to continue to call on his name and in hope of him sending redemption for his elect. And that's why we're here. That's why we teach, so that we can be a part of that number, which go back to the first fruits of creation. But I wanted to get this Judith, because this it actually documents Nebuchadnezzar's campaign, which he had a great run. All right, it tells you Daniel 7. Matter of fact, before I start, I'm not gonna make it long, Lord willing. But he had a campaign, man. The scriptures say what? The Lord lifted up king, raises up men. He said what? One who's never thought of shall be king. You have to believe that. And these are all heathens in Daniel 7. These are all heathen empires, which were given power over the earth. This is Daniel 7 and 4. It says the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. And this is describing the power of it. They were the Babylonians. They we're gonna read about it. They wasn't playing, and they were swift as an eagle. Swift and strong. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, which Nebuchadnezzar wasn't Assyrian. We're gonna read that as well. Started off with the Assyrians. So the Assyrio-Babylonian Empire, you can say it like that. But it said it was lifted up from the earth. They took over. They were in a high position, and they were very prideful, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it, which describes Nebuchadnezzar, the chief mind behind Babylon. And we're going to read about it. This is Judith, back to Judith 1 and 1. It says, in the 12th year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, who reigned in Nineveh, the great city, in the days of Arphaxad, which reigned over the Medes and Ecbane, which when you look up Nineveh real quick, just to show you where he was at, it's right over here. And he said, and built in Ecbane walls round about of stones, hewn 3 cubits broad and 6 cubits long, and made the height of the wall 70 cubits, and the breadth thereof 50 cubits, and set the towers thereof upon the gates of it 100 cubits high, and the breadth thereof in the foundation 60 cubits. And he made the gates thereof even gates that were raised to the height of 70 cubits, and for the breadth of them was 40 cubits. And the going forth of it, so it's a great wall for a great city, right? For the going forth of his mighty armies, and for the setting and array of his footmen. So they would have a command center. He's about to go to war. Even in those days, King Nebuchadnezzar made war with King Arphaxad in the great plain, which is the plain in the borders of Rogal. And there came to him all they that lived in the hill country, and all that lived by Euphrates and Tigris, and Hidapsis, in the plain of Arioch, the king of the Elamians, and very many nations of the sons of Kalai assembled themselves to the battle. Then Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyria, matter of fact, Because back then, basically, this is that Fertile Crescent, which it actually extends all the way to Egypt as well. But this is the land that you wanted. You know, it talks about this Fertile Crescent in Genesis. What's that? Genesis 2. Yeah, I believe that's Genesis 2. All right, this is the chief lands of the known world at the time. So if you conquered this, you know, basically you took everything. All these different farmlands and these different trade routes, and then you could bring stuff up and down the river, you know, based on the technology at the time. This is back to Judith 1 and 7. Then Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, sent to all that lived in Persia, and to all that lived westward, and to those that all the way to Persia, that lived in Cilicia and Damascus and Libanus and Anti-Libanus, and to all that lived upon the seacoast, and to those amongst the nation that were of Carmel and Galaad and the higher Galilee and the great plain of Esdraelon, and to all that were in Samaria and the cities thereof, and beyond Jordan to Jerusalem, so all the way to Israel, and Bethane and Kelis and Cades, and the river of Egypt, so the Nile River, and Taphnes and Rameses, and all the land of Gesem, until you come beyond Tanis and Memphis, and to all the inhabitants of Egypt. So all the way down the Fertile Crescent, until you come to the borders of Ethiopia. That's a long way, right? Sending messengers. But all the inhabitants of the land made light of the commandment of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians. Like, who is this guy? He's all the way in Assyria talking shit. Neither they went with him to the battle, for they were not afraid of him. Yes, he was before them as one man. And they sent away his ambassadors from them without effect and with disgrace. Therefore Nebuchadnezzar was very angry with all this country, and sware by his throne and kingdom that he would surely be avenged upon all those coasts of Cilicia and Damascus and Syria, that he would kill with the sword all the inhabitants of the land of Moab, and the children of Ammon, and all Judea, and all that were in Egypt, till you come to the borders of the two seas. Then he marched, and like when you think about this, basically he declared war on the entire earth. And just to show you the empire afterwards, because this at the time, this was never done before. And this is why Esau has been likened unto the king of Babylon in this place that is modern day Babylon, aka America, because basically they did the same thing. And they took down the entire world and put it under their control with a beast, you know, multinational global power. Right? The difference is Nebuchadnezzar did it with the known world. Right? Esau has actually done it around the entire planet. Like they show you a map. This is a Babylonian map of the world. You know, then they show it. It said the map is circular with two boundary circles. Cuneiform script labels all locations inside the circular map. The two circles represent a body of water labeled Bitter River, the Salt Sea. Babylon is marked north of the center. So the known world that they knew was much smaller. Parallel lines at the bottom represent the southern marshes, and a curved line coming from the northeast to represent the Zagros Mountains. And the Zagros Mountains are like up here. They kind of cut through Arabia. That was kind of the line. But the point being, their understanding of the known world was much smaller. You know, they wanted these different chief places, and I'm gonna read more verse 13. Then he marched in battle array with his power against King Arphaxad in the 17th year, and he prevailed in his battle, for he overthrew all the power of Arphaxad and all his horsemen and all his chariots, and became lord of his cities, and came to Ecbane, and took the towers, and spoiled the streets thereof, and turned the beauty thereof into shame. He took also Arphaxad into the mountains of Rogal, and struck him through with his darts, and destroyed him utterly that day. So he returned afterward to Nineveh, both he and all his company of sundry nations, being a very great multitude of men of war. And there he took his ease and banqueted, both he and his army, 120 days. In the 18th year, the 22nd day of the first month, there was talk in the house of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, that he should, as he said, avenge himself on all the earth. So he called to him all his officers and his nobles, and communicated with them his secret counsel, and concluded the afflicting of the whole earth out of his own mouth. Then the decree to destroy all flesh that did not obey the commandment of his mouth. And when he had ended his counsel, Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, called Holofernes, the chief captain of his army, which was next to him, and said to him, Thus says the great king, the Lord of the whole earth, Behold, you shall go forth from my presence, and take with you men that trust in their own strength, of footmen 120,000, and the number of horses with their riders 12,000. And ye shall go against all the west country, because they disobeyed my commandment. And ye shall declare to that they prepare for me earth and water, for I will go forth in my wrath against them, and will cover the whole face of the earth with the feet of my army, and I will give them for a spoil to them, so that their slain shall fill their valleys and their brooks, and the rivers shall be filled with their dead to the overflow. And I will lead them captives to the utmost parts of all the earth. You therefore shall go forth and take beforehand for me all their coasts, and if they will yield themselves to me, you shall reserve them for me to the day of their punishment. But concerning them that rebel, let not your eyes spare them, but put them to slaughter and spoil them wherever you go. And even when you look at the law, because that is a kind of a semblance of our law, you go to a city and, you bid unto them to become, your servants. And if they don't listen, then you go to war and you destroy them. But if they do, they become your bondmen. That's in our law. All right. So some of our ways, like the scriptures talk about the old law, which is coming back. The ancient paths, the old ways of doing things is coming back on the earth, and it's going to be made into the standard. But based off of how Esau has done shit, because it tells you that with Antiochus, said they did away with the old law, and Esau does that, man. They change how combat is fought. They change how proceedings are done, and that's why the earth is in disorder and disarray right now. All right, but you can continue reading. I'm not going to read the entire story. It's a hell of a story. And that Nebuchadnezzar actually accomplished it, this being his empire. He actually did go into Judea, right, which was prophesied by Jeremiah. Right, we had the Babylonian captivity, which was about, was it 70 years? It might have been cut a little short, but yeah, Nebuchadnezzar basically was able to do this. This is a huge, vast empire. Even today, this is like let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's probably like about 10 countries in this one, because this empire stretches all the way up here to Turkey / Armenia, which when you look at who's fighting right now, Ukraine, which is right there by the Caucasus Mountains, right, the Black Sea. all the way up there. So when you jump to Jeremiah 50, which you have to have discernment, the early parts of Jeremiah, he's actually talking about the Babylonians. But then the later parts, like you go to Jeremiah 50, some of these things haven't necessarily happened yet, right? Because when you last leave off with the Babylonians, I believe it's Daniel 5. Matter of fact, let me just go to it. You're going to do the lesson, go to the precepts, brother. Let's see, Daniel 5. Yeah, the hand comes on the wall. Yeah, the Babylonians were never just completely blown up and utterly destroyed like that. Daniel 5 and 28, that kingdom is divided and is given to the Medes and the Persians. I believe it was some small skirmishes, but there was no major destruction that came, upon Babylon. All right, but when you go back to Jeremiah 50, let's see, 13, for example, because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall, which lines up with Isaiah 34, by the way, but it shall be wholly desolate. Wholly desolate. Now, what does that mean? That means nobody will dwell there. That never happened on modern day Iran, which is Babylon. You still got people over there. Everyone that goeth to Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. It's gonna be like, God damn. Nobody's gonna dwell there. They say that in Isaiah 34 as well. Nobody's gonna dwell there. Still people over there. All right, but put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord. All right, this is talking about missiles. All right, this place is going to get hit with missiles from all the other countries that they pissed off. All right, it says, what, they shall hate the whore, these other nations. Shout against her round about, she hath given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of the Lord, take vengeance upon her, if she have do unto her. Cut off the sword from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of their pressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land. And this is the place where you have all these different countries. Everybody's coming here to make money, right? That's what the whole passport bros thing was about. You have people who figured out that they do these remote jobs or whatever, or that the United States currency is worth a certain amount, so they can go to all these other nations. You can go over there with $100 and eat and be good for 2 weeks, and then you bring another 100, you're gonna have, you can get 20 wives or whatever, which it's all whoredom as well. It's all extended whoredom. But that's why a lot of those different nations, they want to actually come here, because they're like, well, shit, we want the same purchasing power. All right, but what's going to happen, like we just read in verse 16, it said, they shall flee everyone to his own land. So all these other, everyone here, they're going to go back to their own country, which is happening a lot now. Right, these different businesses stuff, a lot of them are shutting down as online business increases too. People want remote jobs. Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First, the king of Assyria have devoured him, and last, this Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, have broken his bones. Let's see. Let you go down to the point, because it mentions something else too. Verse 23. How was the hammer? And Esau is likened unto the king of Babylon, as well as the king of, he said what, the rod of the rod of Assyria, right? Judah and Ephraim have gone into captivity together. Right, but verse 23, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder? So the whole earth, Esau is the hammer of the whole earth. Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar put in work, but not the whole earth. These people have, stations and bases everywhere. Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii. They've completely ruined. Hawaii is all fucked up. They got damn gasoline in the damn drinking water. The people who actually from there can't actually afford to even live there. Right? Esau is ruined it. All right, but it says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. All right, just like Nebuchadnezzar, he had a mind to take down all those nations. But oh yeah, it mentions that Judah and Israel pressed together, verse 33. But Nebuchadnezzar had a mind to take down all the nations, but you see what the Lord did to him. He took him back to an animal state. Let's go to verse 49. Chapter 49. Because it actually jumps and talks about Esau. These latter prophecies in Jeremiah talking about Esau, who is the modern day king of Babylon. Jeremiah 49:7. Concerning Esau, Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudence that wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made, so the Lord is not going to leave any part. It's completely exposing this man. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. Right? He's the modern day king of Babylon. So chapter 49, chapter 50, 51. It's another one. I think it was Isaiah 14. Yeah, man, this man has been spoken about since the beginning. Right? Isaiah 14 and 10 and 1. And that's why you're seeing them try to touch on, they had a series on Amazon, House of David. Why y'all trying to go into David now? Here it is, Esau that made all kind of magical fairy tales and dungeons and dragons and wizards and all of this. Now you want to jump to the house of David and do it wrong. Isaiah 14 and 1, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, which hasn't happened yet. We were set in our land before, but never permanently. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Hey, all of the elect in the utmost countries are going to be gathered up. Right? And we're going to be over the heathens. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they're going to serve us. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their possessors, their oppressors. All right, those people who, you're talking about 6 million, who own all of the banks and all that, who everybody's complaining about right now. They don't fulfill none of this. Right? You're jumping straight to the point, verse 4, that thou should take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Right? This golden city. You know, you can read through it, man. It's the whole book is raw. I'm gonna get right to the point. Because it said what Babylon had been this place is a whore riding on the back. This place has been a golden cup. Yeah, if you want to make money, come to America. Everybody knows that. You got Indians here, you got Pakistanis here. Everybody's here. And then Esau complaining because he like, you got all these people here, and they don't even fucking like us. And guess what? And that's your people who brought them over. Yeah, another one that hasn't happened. Isaiah 14:22. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord. Yeah, Esau is going to be completely desolate. It's going to be Edomites left. But in this place, it's going to be just completely destroyed. See, that didn't necessarily happen to the Assyrians or the Babylonians. You know, even the Egyptians, you know, they were Egypt got fucked up when we left, but it was still Egyptians after. Right? I will make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water. I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, nuclear destruction, said the Lord of hosts. The Lord have sworn, saying, and that didn't happen to old Babylon. The Lord didn't sweep it with a besom of destruction like that. Like he said, owls, satyrs, dragons. Because a bittern is a bird. I want to say it's in the owl family. It's one of them birds. But that's what's basically Babylon's going to become after it burns for a long time. It's going to be a place for like I said, satyrs, birds, lizards, and nobody's going to dwell here. That's why they're likened unto Babylon, because Esau was able to go throughout the whole world and just whoop everybody's ass and say, well, what nation is like unto the beast? Right, the Americans, man, the American military and the resources that this place provided, right? Because Europe was drained. You know, when they came over here and got America, it was like woo. And they had all the tribes in slavery. Oh man, they were living good. Esau has been living great. Right, but now we're coming to the end where all these prophecies are going to play out. Lord willing, this is edifying. You know, it's time for Babylon to be destroyed, man. That's why we're getting ourselves back in order with the Lord and away from these ways of confusion, which have been shown to be destruction. Right, like it said, Isaiah 14:6, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. They don't rule in righteousness, and so you can be happy, and the generations after can be happy, and man, everything is beautiful. No, they rule in anger. You will pay a tax. Like you hear Trump talk, boy. You'll pay taxes on this, and you'll give us this, and if you buy Venezuelan oil, we'll tax you this much percent. Like, damn, man. That's the threat behind everything. If you don't do what we say, we're gonna tax you, or we're gonna go to war. That's coming shortly after. But Lord willing, it's edifying. I try to make this video too long. Call Lawyer Malaya How about Shemaushai.